feel it, the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and they try to touch you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power.
Welcome everyone to another episode, and actually what I want to say is the last episode of 2024. Not the end of season 2, but definitely the last episode of 2024 for the Power Shut Up podcast. We're excited to be here and close out this season. This is my favorite time of the season. And we have a wonderful group of people here with me tonight that I think will close us out in a wonderful way and a powerful way. If you all saw the flyer, it's all about perspectives here, and they know all about different perspectives. So we're going to open it up. But before we get started, I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in and actually for supporting us this whole first part of season 2. We have enjoyed all of our guests. We talked about some really great topics. I've learned a lot. Hopefully you all who have been tuning in have learned a lot. But I wanted to, as usual, say happy birthday to anyone who's celebrating a birthday. Enjoy. And for those who are celebrating a birthday, whether it's on Christmas Day or whatever, I want to tell the family and friends, please give them separate gifts. Do not put all their gifts into one day. Okay. I'm just saying, separate it. Okay. So happy birthday to everybody. I love birthdays. I also wanted to say happy anniversary to anybody who's celebrating an anniversary, celebrating an engagement, a new relationship. Congratulations and happy anniversary to you. And congratulations to anyone who has done something they've never done before, something on their bucket list, a new business, whatever it is, a new breakthrough. Congratulations. Keep going. Show them how it's done. That's what we're doing here tonight, hopefully. Any breakthroughs, just new things going on. Congratulations and keep going. So I wanted to give a few highlights of the things that I have going on. I think this year I've kind of closed out some things, but I do have a few things that I'll be working on that I wanted to remind you of. I have a publishing company called Touch by Dove Publishing, and our latest client has a new book coming out. The name of her book is Unmasking the Imposter, Exposing the Truth Behind the Dream. I want to say congratulations to her. She's actually planning to release her book in 2025, but we're excited to have her on board. I think this will be a powerful piece that will help people who are trying to get into writing. They'll see a different perspective and hopefully miss some of those lanes where you just kind of like, oops, I shouldn't have done this. So she's trying to kind of expose lessons learned kind of thing. So I think it'll be powerful. I also wanted to remind you all, if you've missed any of the episodes from season 1, or up until today, please go visit the episodes on the Lisa Dove Washington YouTube channel and check out all of the episodes there. You can also go, or if you're here on Facebook, the Power Shut Up page, we also have the show streaming, so you can check them out. And we also stream to Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify. Cherie will be so proud of me because I remembered all of those outlets. But please check it out. Now, some people who are with me tonight will understand how excited I am about this. But if you haven't and you still need to get some shopping on, I am an affiliate with Notes to Self socks. So please go grab your Notes to Self socks. They have positive affirmations on the bottom, on the top of the toe, but go check it out. I usually buy some and keep some on lock to give away. I need to build my stash back up. I think I kind of took all the rest of them that were left. And I think Coach might have quite a few of those because if you win, you get socks and other things, but I think he's gotten quite a few pair. So please go out there to Notes to Self Sock. And as you can see, it's the notes2selfsocks.com/POSU, which is for the power of shut up. I also wanted to let you all know that I am working on a journal for to go along with my book, The Power Shut Up. For those who don't know, that I have a book called The Power Shut Up. That's where the podcast came from. And we talk about how we can do better about how we communicate with one another. So there's a journal that I'm looking to release in the new year called Shut Up and Write It Down. So that will be coming soon, along with some other children's books that I'm adding to my children's book series. So I'm excited about that. And what we'll be doing once we get to the end of the show is we'll have a word of the week, and we'll also have a tip of the week as usual. And then I'm giving away some tickets to an event. So if you're in the DMV area or you know someone who's in Maryland, DC, or Virginia, tell them to tune in. They may possibly win, but we have an exciting concert that's happening this Saturday, and I have 2 tickets that I want to give away. So without further ado, and before we get into anything else, I wanted to introduce my guests and thank everyone who's in the chat. I'm going to pass this off to, and I think Roland, you're at the top, but I want you to start, introduce yourself and say hello. And we're going to pass it on.
See, and I knew that was going to happen once they threw me up in the corner, but they told me to come in here and act like you got some sense. So that's what I do. As a matter of fact, I put on my good shirt. No, I'm just joking with you. But my name is Roland Walker. Mr. Shift Happens. Poor man's Dr. Phil on various platforms. And I didn't know what to expect when I came over here. You said it's the power of shut up. So I was thinking you were going to come on here and be the female version of Pinky from Friday. I'm always finding the comedic relief in everything, but I'm a very serious person when it comes to most things, and especially about the word. So I'm just happy to be here, and I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Absolutely. Who's next? Tell us who you are.
Good evening, everyone. I am Nodella Sacagawea Jordan. I am glad to be a part of tonight's discussion. And I'm just looking forward to, everybody's perspective on tonight. I am an entrepreneur. I'm an author. I do a lot of stuff, but I'm just glad to be here, and we'll see what happens.
Yes, we will. Lisa.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Keys. And I am a part of the Hearts of Women platform under the Empowering Perspective community. And we always come together to have discussions about relationship. And if you are interested in learning more about, our platform, please go over to Empowering Perspective. And there's so much content on the YouTube channel that you will be on there for weeks. There's so much content, and we appreciate Dr. Washington inviting us here to close out her year, and we appreciate her and we love her in the community. She shares with us, and we share with her. So thank you so much for inviting us.
Absolutely.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dwayne Dwyer. I go by the Mindset Coach, and I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I'm looking forward to getting into this conversation. So I'm going to end right there.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Adrienne Walthour, also known as She Is Becoming. I am a young woman who is discovering her true purpose and learning and understanding that I have surrounded myself with some of the Most High's most incredible minds and incredible hearts. And I'm so thankful for the invitation to be here. And I definitely want to ditto what my sister Lisa Keys said about the Empowering Perspectives community. Lots of things that you can learn over there. So please join us anytime. And again, thank you so much for the invitation.
My name is the Uncle Junior, and I go by the Consistency Coach. I am happy to be here. You know, I'm retired military, husband, father, you know, grandfather, friend, all of those different things, you know. So, and I say friend because, you know, I'm here because Coach like, hey, we can jump on over another podcast. And, you know, it's good when you have friends and people that you connect with that you don't need to ask any questions. You can trust their judgment. So, Dr. Washington, I appreciate you for having us, and I appreciate the invitation that you extended through Coach that got to us, to myself and Roland. So again, happy to be here. And I'm like, Coach, man, I'm ready to get into see what this thing is about tonight.
Absolutely. So we had some conversations. I think I brought it to Lisa and the Mindset Coach. I was like, I need you all to come and close us out for the year. I think that this especially has been a really interesting year. And it just reminded me that we got a lot of work to do. And I say we, not just me. And I think, you know, one of the things that we can do is kind of try to put people on the right track with where your mind should be, where your heart should be, or at least in the right direction. And it really is about perspective. So when I ran across your live and met most of you, it was about perspectives, but it was, I was so empowered and inspired by the conversation, just kind of tuning in. And you don't necessarily have to get plan to be engaged, but it's kind of easy to get engaged because the conversation is just so good. So I'm grateful for the connections. So this was an easy button for me. I couldn't think of a better guest to kind of close us out and kind of get us in the right and I don't know, perspectives. I know that there's a range of perspectives, but I do agree that there's, you know, certain lanes that I think we should probably try to get into so that we can have a good year next year. I think some people kind of drop the ball because they get so excited about having the parties and the this and that. Now, all of that's wonderful. But if we start to work early, let's not wait till the first. Let's start now. So tonight we're going to get into, and I titled this, it's all about perspectives, but I really want to keep this, you know, open to anything. I don't want to just focus on one thing because perspectives can go all over the place. But this is really kind of going back to the core of why I started this and why I start any business that I have, which is to empower, inspire, and enlighten others to reach their next level. So that's what this really is all about. And sharing different perspectives is how we get there. So I'm really kind of opening it up for what you all have on your mind and your heart to help people to prepare for the end of 2024 and to enter into a new year. And this is not New Year resolution stuff. This is just, how do we start working on us so we can get ready for what's to come, whatever that may be? So who wants to kick us off? Because I know y'all are ready to get started.
You know what? Since I said, go ahead, Coach.
No, you go ahead.
Well, since me and Coach was both talking about we want to get this party started, let's start it. So one of the things that, you know, just like in the title of my name, the Consistency Coach, I think that's one thing that people can start doing as they start ending out the year. Picking something and not just being consistent with it, but also being consecutive with it. So, you know, sometimes the best way to kickstart a habit is to do it every single day or do it often, over and over and over, you know, repetition. So, you know, today is the 19th. So imagine pick something and then just do it until the beginning of the year, you know, and regardless of what it is, you know, I'm a firm believer in fitness and health and wellness and longevity and been around here for a long time so I can be around my grandkids and my great grandkids and, you know, and not have to spend the majority of my latter years in the hospital or going back and forth to doctor's appointments. So I am investing in the long-term gain when it comes to my health and my wellness. So I think that that's something that's very important. But I think that it doesn't necessarily have to be that. If you want to strengthen your mind, start reading every single day. If you want to be a better cook, start cooking something every single day to end out the rest of the year, even if it's the same dish. I guarantee you the dish that you make on December the 19th, on December the 31st, it's going to taste a whole lot better if you put some effort into it. So that's my thing. Find something, get consistent with it, get consecutive with it to kind of end out the year. And hopefully that'll jumpstart some habit or some good goal or something like that that'll lead you into the next year.
I love that. I love that. Anybody else want to go next?
Yeah, I'm glad he started off with consistency, right? Because mine's going. We do this all the time. The consistency coach and myself. My thoughts initially is that we have to get better at challenging assumptions. I really believe that we, for the most part, collectively in this world, we have a belief system that is rooted in a lie or some lies. And so I created a TikTok earlier today, and I had a couple of questions. I said, hey, did you mean to misspell the word belief? I did. It was intentional, because within the center of that word belief is the word L-I-E, lie. A lot of us were taught something that was wrong. A lot of us believed something that was wrong, or that was taught to us in an incorrect manner, and therefore that became a foundational belief. And because of that foundational belief that was rooted in a lie, we literally constructed a lot of our behaviors around that. So to the consistency coach's point, we have been consistent to a certain degree, but we have been consistent about the wrong thing. So challenge the assumption that is rooted in that belief system, and ask yourself why. Like, we got to get better at asking ourselves questions about the things that we're thinking about, right? Metacognition, like ask yourself questions about the thoughts that you're having, and then ask yourself, where did that thought come from? If there is no fact that supports that thought, then it might be because that thought that you had is rooted in something that doesn't exist or never existed, or could have been a fallacy that was given to you. So challenge assumptions, restructure your thought process to support something that has been given to you that's rooted in the truth, or something that is true. And then become consistent about those things. Again, going back to this point, if you are on a weight loss journey, trust me, these cake, cookies, and pies that come across during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year ain't going to help you achieve those weight loss goals. So again, what is the lie that supports the hunger or the desire to eat those cake, candies, and cookies? Well, it's probably rooted in the season and how they posture everything to make us feel good. So now, how do I rewire that in my brain? So that's the part you have to figure out, so that you can now move at a different tune.
Okay, so first of all, y'all not going to step on my toes, and we just got started, okay? Because I'm having a moment with them chocolate chip walnut cookies that I keep bringing in here, and I keep saying you wrong, but let's discuss this tomorrow. But no, I absolutely understand what you're saying, but y'all touched on something, because the cookies has been an issue the last few days. And this is another reason why I think it's all about perspectives, because I also wanted to kind of put out there, and that's why I love what you all are sharing so far, is that perspectives, not only are they one thing, but they can change, and that's okay. And I think a lot of times I'm going to go to Lisa, because it's something that you posted that I responded to today that kind of put me in a special mindset with what I wanted to talk about today too, and just kind of go into that lane which you were tipping into, which was about and it connects with perspective. But I think a lot of times we get so stuck in and I think your post had to do with it being in your comfort lane, and our perspective is one way. We get stuck there, and then we feel obligated to stay there. And so it really doesn't stay comfortable. It becomes an uncomfortable space. And I had to learn at an older age, I'll say older, that some things that I held on to very tightly that I felt like this is how it's supposed to be. And I was very stringent about it. And then I noticed like now it doesn't bother me the same. I'm not as stuck to that. And I noticed the release of stress and tension. And I think we talked about this before, but that's because my perspective has changed on certain things. It's not number one priority anymore. And I don't feel guilty about it, but it takes a while to get us there. But Lisa, I don't know where you were going with it, but something you posted kind of triggered that for me. And I was like, yeah, it feels good. I think you're on mute.
I don't recall what I posted. I don't know if it was on Facebook or on TikTok, but I try to post something encouraging all the time. And one of the things that to feed off of what you said and what Coach is saying, that we have a belief system that we believe is the core of our essence of our belief, right? And then we hold on so hard to that, and we don't allow ourselves to consider anything else. We just reject any new information. And so when you think about new information and being in these environments and hearing things that challenge what you currently believe, that can be a little bit, difficult, right? But then that begins the conversation within you internally, when you can ask yourself these questions, and then one of the other things Coach said that made me think about, and I wrote it down, when we think about what we're thinking about, it helps us to go in and question and try to figure out, well, why do I have this thought process? Because a lot of times, a lot of the work we have to do is internal. So we have to ask ourselves, well, why am I responding to this the way that I am? Right? And then we have to go and begin to dig and discover what is going on. Why am I thinking? Where did this come from? And a lot of times challenging those beliefs that we have had for most of our life is not the easiest thing, but guess what? It's necessary. And on the other side of it, it is so beautiful, because now you have this understanding, like, I didn't understand this before. Now I have this understanding. So I'm going to stop there because I want to let other people, respond as well.
Who wanted to go next?
Me. So, this is perfect. The voice of what the voice of reason just shared, because I have about 4 affirmations that pop up every day. And one of the affirmations that I have that pops up is, you have to let go of what's no longer serving you to be able to do the next thing. And so even in the vein of what Coach and the voice of reason shared, is that oftentimes when we get stuck in a certain mindset, it's hard for us to embrace the next thing. And, Dr. Lisa, even as behind the stage, was talking, and I was talking about my journey, how I got to here in Maryland. And it took me a year and a half to obey God, because I was stuck in a certain mindset. I was comfortable where I was. Although I was unhappy, I was still comfortable. And I was like, but I want to stay here because this is where familiarity is. But I also shared with you, once I got here, he opened up a whole new world to me that I never even knew existed. And although I faced some challenges, it's still no comparison to what I was dealing with or what I had experienced previously. And so this year, I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I do kind of set a tone for the following year of my expectations of what I want to do, even, with what God wants to do with me. And so I started adding these affirmations to my calendar this year. And let me tell you, this one has made all the world of a difference, because I found myself trying to hold on to certain relationships that no longer served me. And I'm not talking about serving me in the context of I only benefited, but it didn't benefit me at all. And it was a little hard to let certain relationships go, because me and these individuals, we were very close, or at least I thought we were. But when I started reading this every day, I had to, as the voice of reason said, I had to stop and look, why am I holding on to this? What has it benefited me in terms of, has it caused me to grow or to do anything better? And it hasn't. So I said, you know what? Fine, I let it go. And so I just, want to reiterate, the affirmation is you have to let go of what's no longer serving you to be able to do the next thing. And when I let those relationships go, guess what? I met all of you. I met all of you. So that's my part.
I love that.
I've been personally on a weight loss or health journey for the last 2 years. And this is the first year that I haven't had what I call the traditional New Year's resolution. But I had started reading some books, one of them called The 31 Days to a Clutter-Free Life. And as cliche as the title is, it really has resonated with me while I've been reading this book, because not only do I have to clear out closets and shoes and purses and get rid of the old stuff, the old sizes, the old stuff, it's really gotten even bigger than that, because I have to now, as I'm going through pieces in my closet, try and figure out if it's stuff I need to get rid of. Now I'm also considering the way that I think, everything about me that I thought is what made me to be who I am, the people around me. It's become a little bit even bigger. And so my commitment to myself is to have a clutter-free life, but I want to declutter all those areas of my life that are no longer serving me and are holding me back from growing closer to the Most High. So for me, clutter-free is my catchphrase going into 2025. And where before I would hold on to things that were familiar to me, were comfortable for me, were things that I was used to, I'm now taking them piece by piece in every aspect of my life and examining them and seeing exactly where I am and if that thing still serves me or not.
I'm glad I came behind you, Adrian, because you talking about clutter-free and you talked about your weight loss journey. And that was one of my hangups, because after I had, my heart issues, I realized that I was a slave to food, and not just food. I was a slave to behaviors. I was a slave to habits, and removing those things took time and effort. But you see along the way during your journey, you see how it works for your good in the long run. But my thing was, Dr. Washington talked about, it's been a crazy year. And it has, because people were election and politic focused. And that was a big thing for me, because I'm looking like, okay, you're election and politic focused and saying that you need these people to do this. I got to vote them in so that they can do this, instead of us being more family, community, and people focused, where we can do it ourselves with the help of others, but they're just in addition to, not because of. And that's where my focus has been. My focus is, how can we be better and more connected as a people, so that we can realize that, hey, I'm not a slave to what somebody told me, as in the lie that Coach talked about. I'm not a slave to the food. I'm not a slave to the journey that they've put me on. But let me see how I can get out of this mental slavery mindset and be free enough to expand my mind and horizons to where I can grow exponentially, so that I can help my people grow.
Yeah, well, and what you tapped into was that's kind of how I've been feeling about the weight journey. Of course, I don't do too well in that area. I'm struggling, but I am confessing. But no, when it comes to mind clutter, that's exactly what I was thinking about, and not feeling, I think that we should start to recognize and kind of say out loud what our weaknesses and strengths are, and then start to tackle those. And I think that's what I've started doing. And it is freeing to be able to admit, hey, I'm struggling in this area, because then you're able to kind of decide what steps you need to take. But if you never, acknowledge that it's an issue, then you're definitely not going to take any steps to fix it. But in that regard as well, I feel like that I also, confession time for me is part of what I do to prepare for the next year. And I kind of do this every year, in intervals throughout the year, but definitely around this time, I start to think about, like, what can I, similar to what you said, Roland, what can I do better? How can I be better? And what can I do for myself to help this be easier? Sometimes we're trying to do something and we don't think about, okay, so how can I work on something for me so that when I'm making this transition, it's not so difficult? And you can take that to a weight loss journey where, say, you don't like Brussels sprouts or whatever it is, and you're just stuck there where I don't eat Brussels sprouts. So how am I going to lose weight? As opposed to thinking about, so what other things do I actually like to eat that are good for you, that I can start eating and I can still get there? But we tend to stay stuck. And I know I am guilty of that. It's been moments where I feel a certain way. I'm going to give a funny example of, and I think I've shared this with you, I'm not sure, but I was a stickler for under the Christmas tree. Everything needed to be neat. So no matter what happened during the day, if the dog got up under there or the kids, it was like, fold that back up, put that in that box and keep it straight. And I used to really stress out about something that now seems so ridiculous. But it was something I was holding on to because I felt like things had to be neat and presentable. And if somebody comes over, so I was holding on to that until one day I was like, you know what? The only person that is stressing out about that shirt not being folded correctly in that box is Lisa. Everybody else is having a good time. I'm missing out. I felt like time was skipping by me. And then I had to make some different decisions and decide, why am I holding on? Similar to what you all said, why am I holding on to this? Why is it such a big deal? But something even as small as that can be a change that you consistently do, because you mentioned consistency. You can consistently stop tripping about some of the small stuff. Why is that such a big deal? Where is that coming from? And then move on to something else. It's like I said, it is peace on the other side of this, but I do recognize that a lot of people struggle with letting go of exactly what's comfortable to them. It's hard to let go of something that keeps you safe.
In the spirit of the Shut Up podcast, I think that's what more people need to do. I think there is a lot of talk, but there's not a lot of action. I've heard a lot of what everybody said, and I hear a lot of stuff on social media, and I hear people talking about affirmations and things that they say and, changing their mindsets. But that's just the start. That's just the beginning. There has to be action behind all of those things. People pray, and there have to be action behind those things as well. So it's like, I think that one of the things that people need to focus on is going into the new year. And I'm kind of adding on to what we were talked about. And that is to, like I said, to shut up and start doing, and be open to listening. I think two of the biggest problems that we have in this community is health and wealth, and there are people who have health and there are people who have wealth. But a lot of times when those people who have those, when we get in certain spaces, people don't want to listen to those people. Those people are considered to be bougie. We look at these people in our community as, you think you're better than other people. So, and I don't think it's that. I think that for whatever reason, we don't reach out to people in our own community who are experts in their own fields. Like Coach is a whole coach. You know what I mean? Everybody in here has something that they're an expert at. Everybody has someone in their family who's a nurse, who's something, a CNA. Everybody has something, but we won't pull together. So I guess what I'm kind of wrapping it up and saying is that we need to start doing. You know what I mean? We've been talking about it for a long time. I'm tired of I get the affirmations. I get them. But you like Miss Adrian just talked about, in order for her to be on this journey, she had to eventually stop just talking about it. Stop making every single year, making that her New Year's resolution. She had to put some action behind those words eventually. And that's why she was able to get to the place in her life that she is today. So I guess, again, wrapping it up, put some words behind it. Shut up and put some words behind it.
I know that's right.
I'm in action, not words.
But this is so when you listen to what everybody said, this kind of goes back to where I started at in the beginning. Everything that every person stated was rooted in some type of false information that they had about themselves. Even with the affirmation piece, saying affirmations is great.
Absolutely.
But if you have a negative mindset, the only thing you're doing is putting lipstick on a pig. You can affirm all day long what you don't believe and watch what ends up coming of it. Nothing. So it has to be something that you do within yourself to rewire the structure of your thought processes. Once you're able to do that, you can affirm anything on you can affirm anything from that point on. Then do what the consistency coach said. Do something about it. Don't just think somebody's going to knock on. Hey, Dr. Lisa Love, I got this check for $1 million. Here you go. No, it don't work that way. We would like for it to work that way. And I believe into some small degree, and I might be over exaggerating when I say small degree, I think a lot of people in our community, we have a sense of entitlement as well. We like to talk about this group of people who are entitled, but no, pay attention. We want everything for nothing. It doesn't work that way. Dr. Lisa's a whole doctor. And I know the consistency coach called me out and said I'm a whole coach. He a whole coach too. Like you got Miss Nodella Jordan. She is like extremely big in the church setting, right? So it's like Uncle Junior said, we got a lot of people in our community with a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of information, so forth and so on. The real estate broker above me. I'm sorry. We got a banker on the other side of me. We got that brother in the upper left hand corner. Oh, I'm sorry, it might be y'all right. I don't know. The brother up there in the corner of the college church. That brother, let me tell you something. When it comes down to talking about them scriptures, I love it because that's what we do collectively as a community. If we get to the point of restructuring our mind and not believing that somebody got to give me something for free for me to actually advance in a thing, number one. Number two, stop getting to the point to a person have to achieve a certain status for us to even listen to that person and realize that, hey, if that person is only one step above me or even on the equal playing field as me, I can still learn something from that person. I can still learn something from a child. So we got to get that stuff out of our head. There's a lot of lies that we have to root out so that we can actually, like I tend to say, so that we can have a farm that's free of weeds.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like it's easy to, unfortunately, to fall into that. And I've fallen into it many times too. You can be, on the road to following your dreams and doing something and actually putting action, and someone else can say something to put kind of a monkey wrench in it. And then you start to question what you're doing. Then you sit down, you fall back, and then you don't move. And I think that's where the inner work to me comes in, where you got to figure out, okay, where to shut that noise out and get back up and keep going. If that's the direction that you were called to go in, don't let anybody stand in the way of that. But a lot of times that outside noise really does take over if we haven't done a lot of the inside work. And I noticed that the more I kind of worked on me, the more that didn't land on me. Like I can hear it, but I didn't internalize it. It didn't affect how I moved. But we got to get there, and that's part of what I want, you all to share, because I know that when I've joined the lives and listened to you all, I've actually tapped into things I didn't even know I was struggling with. And it's like, I didn't think about it like that. But it's all about perspectives, right? So you hear a different perspective. And if you're open and you can hear another perspective, you can balance the two and see where, it fits in and where it works for you. But if you're not, sometimes you stay stuck. And that's where I just encourage people to just, be a little more open. It doesn't mean that you have to take on what you heard, but you at least want to hear it so that you can gauge. Because if you're just listening to your own perspective, I mean, you're always going to be, to me, at a negative on some level, because you're not open to anything else.
So still in the same vein of, I love the flow of this conversation, because for me, it brings me back to my second affirmation, which is God connect me with people who matter to my purpose. To the point of what the Uncle Junior was saying is that we have these affirmations, but what are your actions? And so in order for God to connect me to people who matter to my purpose, I had to let go of those other relationships. But then also I had to look at myself as well to make sure that I was ready for those connections as well. Mm-hmm. Because I found myself being connected to people who was only pulling from me. And I'm like, yo, hey, what's going on with this? I'm like, this is a one-sided relationship. And so I put a post, this was earlier this year, and I put a post out. I said, listen, I'm not your groupie. I'm not your fan. If you're not going to engage with me on social media, I said, expect to disappear. And I did, because that's people. So I am a very resourceful individual, only because of the things that I used to do in Connecticut. I have a lot of connections. And so people was using me for those connections. They was using me for the stuff that I knew. One of the names that I was given was the negotiator. And I got that name because whenever the former church I was attending, we would do an event, they would send me in to negotiate with whoever the vendor was. And I have to humbly say, I was a good negotiator. We got some really good deals. But people was using me for that. I do graphic design. I didn't even go to school for graphic design. That was truly a gift that God has given me. But people was, oh, can you design a flyer for me? But they didn't want to pay any money. And I'm like, okay, I'll give you one freebie. But they kept coming back. And so I had to reach that point of saying, is this the kind of connection that I want, just to say that I'm connected to people? I said, nah, I'm done with it in 2024. And so again, because my mindset also changed, it opened the door for me to be able to meet such a, and I tell people all the time, it is also the voice of reason. I really do love this community. I love the genuineness of the community. I just love everything that this community has to offer. But I had to get to a point to move all that other stuff that was actually blocking, because I could have possibly met y'all sooner. But I met you when I met you. I'm fine with it, because at least I finally met y'all, right? So I'm happy with that. And I just have to continue, as the Uncle Junior says, I have to continue to do that work so that I don't have that blockage anymore, so that I don't invite those connections that really are not going to benefit me, because I recognize that God has me on a particular path, and there are certain people that need to be a part of my life in this season. And for that, I'm grateful. So again, I love the flow of tonight's conversation. And like the Uncle Junior said, and also the mindset coach, is that we can't declare or decree stuff, but then there's no works behind it, because scripture says faith without works is dead. And then we don't see any fruit from what we've done. So for me, I am seeing fruit from the work that I am doing.
I love that. I want it. So I really, because I know, look, we're not doing too many commercials today because I'm loving the conversation, but I did want all of us to kind of talk about, or let's discuss how what steps, and I'm bringing this from, and I'm shout out to my coach, because I think, you know, even with coach, every coach needs a coach kind of thing, and I've been straightened out in many areas over and over and over again. I'm shouting them out, but one of the things that I am addressing and being transparent, because that's what I do here, because that's the only way we can learn, is kind of hear what people are going through and what they're doing, is that I am being challenged with, and going into the new year, I do want to work on I'm trying to figure out how to say this, but qualifying myself. What I found that, or what was brought to my attention that I do sometimes, is I say something, but then I feel like I have to qualify it. And, you know, I was told, why are you doing that? Like, why are you, you know, it is what it is. Why are you feeling like you have to go back and justify, and I do that. I didn't realize that I was doing that, but because I'm open and I can hear, and I'm loving the growth with being open, I can take that and then figure out, what do I need to do about that? Because I didn't realize how often I was doing it, because consciously I didn't think I was doing that. But that's just me being transparent, and something I need to work on. But I think first what we need to do is, like we talked about before, is identify what is that thing about us, because we're really good at pointing out others and what we see in them and what they could do better. But the work starts when we can point out something that we don't do well at all. And the power shut up is the first thing. Y'all know that's the reason why this podcast exists today, because I did not know how to shut my mouth. But I will say, in deciding that that was my issue, I was able to gain the power back from that. So you can't use that against me no more. I know, and I do better because I know better. But there's a flip side to that, and I think somebody said it, where you can know better, but that don't mean you're gonna do better. If you don't put no action to it and recognize, okay, but you got to work at that. So you can't just say, oh, I know better, so I can just say it this time. So, but I wanted you all to kind of share, what is some steps or things that you think people can take on really kind of acknowledging that self-work and do that call to action to self. Because we're good at calling to action, folks, and let's come together and let's do this. But what do we say to self as far as that call to action goes? Do you all have any thoughts on that?
I'll jump in. I'll jump in on this one. There's so much I was writing down what I was hearing, and one of the things that came to me that I know that's been so helpful for me, and I didn't realize I was doing it as well, because I had a blind spot. Right. And I was going through my coaching professional development, and I was rejecting information based on what I believe was accurate or right. Okay. I would reject it and I wouldn't consider it. So I think that was my first phase of growth during my professional development, is I would reject information because it was not something that I believed to be true, and I didn't consider it. I think that when we take our time and we're in environments and we can listen, Coach, one of the things Coach says, and I think, and I know it's true. Anytime you read, the book is for the reader. The Bible, the word is for the reader. So if you're reading it, you can't say, yeah, my sister does that. You know, you can't put that on someone else. You need to make sure that if it's something that you are doing, you had to do the work for you. You can't do the work for anyone else.
That's right.
You can hope for them, you can want for them, but you have to do the work for yourself. And if you're automatically rejecting information, you cannot grow, because then you have a fixed mindset. And a coach said, you know, we talked about this before. I mean, a few days ago. Fixed mindset, it can be good and it can be, you know, bad as well. So if you have a fixed mindset and you don't have a mind to listen to information, and your immediate response is to reject it, then you're refusing to grow, because you are set on the information that you think is correct. And that can hinder us from growing. It can hinder us from being in relationships. I remember talking to Sister Nodella, and we would get on the phone and we would talk for a couple hours, and time would go by and we'll be just talking. And she was like, you know, I don't really talk to anyone. And I would tell her the same thing. I don't really talk to anyone either. I have a really small group. This is my community. So I talk to people in my community. So I think that when we are focused on improving ourselves and we want to grow ourselves, the main work that we have to do is on us, and it benefits everybody else who's a part of our life or in our circle.
Absolutely. Who want to tackle it next?
I think when it comes to topics like these, I love them. I try to listen more than I speak, but I think you have to learn to love yourself where you are so that you can love yourself enough to push you where you want to go. Because sometimes we'll say, I love you, and we placate to people. So I'm imitating that person. I'm being who they expect me to be or what they like. And you're never learning who you are. But when you truly learn who you are and start loving that person, like, man, yeah, I'm not where I'm going to be, but I got to love myself in this place. And when I'm loving myself, those things that aren't like the person that I want to become, I got to discard those things. I got to get rid of those things because people will expect that old person because they are familiar with that person. And when you come different, it's like, hold up, you're acting a little funny. No, I'm not acting funny. I'm becoming who I'm trying to become. So I think that when we learn who we need to become and we love that person and strive in that vein instead of trying to appease and please everyone else, then we'll be on the right track.
I love that. I love that.
For me, it is understanding that everything I thought I was, I'm not. And that is a very uncomfortable and frankly difficult place to be in. But I know that the work that is ahead of me is necessary. And everything that's been put in you, trying to pull that apart is like pulling flesh from bone for me, right? I've never thought that I would ever consider the fact that things that were put in me and that I was supposed to be are not true, or may not necessarily serve a greater good. And for me, absolutely identifying with the woman who raised me, absolutely identifying with the person that I was told I am by race, absolutely identifying with the woman I'm supposed to be and the way I'm supposed to do things, and the way things are supposed to be, and not having, of course, with my parents both being deceased at this moment, and then understanding that everything that I thought, okay, great, I got all this information, now this is who I am, and now I need to forge forward into the world. And then somebody saying, but that's not accurate, but that's not quite right. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? It was kind of like I was in a ring and I was getting a bunch of body blows because they were saying that who I was or who I thought I was is not who I am. But really having to sit back and sit with yourself and understand that, like, is it possible that that person could be right? Have you considered this? Have you considered that? And then having to pull that apart from you is a difficult space, but I am committing to doing it and to being better by pulling that up. It ain't gonna be easy. I know that it's not gonna be easy because it's everything that all 44 years of my life I've been known to be. But I'm committed to questioning everything I thought I am or am supposed to be, if that is actually accurate, and if that is the path that I need to be on at this point in my life, in order for me to improve and to be better and to become who I am supposed to be.
So let me just address the elephant in the room. The easy button is self-reflection. That's the one that I know somebody in the Gigosphere has already said it. And it's probably in the back of everybody's mind right now as we're talking about this. But I will say the step, and as I get ready to say this, I want somebody who has heard me say this before, type in the acronym. Don't just type the acronym, but tell us what it means. OODA loop, right? Identify the loop and then OODA loop. That's what I would say the step is. When I say identify the loop, you got to go back and listen to the conversation that myself and the consistency coach had last Tuesday, but this past Tuesday, on the habit loop. When we understand the habit loop that we are caught in then there are three things that we must identify. We got to identify the cue, we got to identify the routine behavior, and then we also got to identify the reward. Well, there are cues that happen in the environment naturally, and every time that cue happens, we respond a particular type of way. But then in the space of relationships, some people's behavior can also be a cue. So, what is the thing that happens that triggers my automatic behavior or my automatic response? Or what is the behavior that I use as a cue to get an automatic response? And I use the example, when you go back and look at it, I use the example of a baby. Once baby come into the world, baby starts crying, parent respond to baby, baby gets reward. Then baby gets smart. Baby said, hey, every time I cry, you move. So baby now learns that me crying gets you to do what I want. So now baby used the cry just to get you to give them what they want. That's what it's that's part of that. Now, when we become adults, thank you, his divine appointment. When we become adults, we know that as well. So we will use behaviors to manipulate, and I meant that word intentionally, to manipulate another person to give us the reward that we want. So what is the habit that you find yourself in? What is the habit loop? Once you identify the habit loop, now go back and do what we talked about previously. Ask yourself questions about your thought process. Why did I think the cue or the normal behavior or the normal response is necessary? What is the lie that's rooted in that? And then look at changing it. And then you go, like his divine appointment said, OODA loop. So OODA loop is a phrase that came from the Air Force that teaches you how to respond to situations in near time. Therefore, when you're in a fighter jet and the enemy fighter jet does this, you OODA loop in real time and then you adjust. So now when it comes down to what we do, we have to OODA loop, and that stands for observe, orient, decide, and then act. You observe what's happening in real time. You orient yourself in the direction that you think is appropriate. You make the appropriate decision, and then you act according to that decision. For believers, we always orient ourselves towards Christ. If you're not a believer, I got it. You know, whatever you orient yourself towards, that's fine. But that's how that works. So again, first identify the habit loop. Ask yourself the appropriate question to understand the lie that made you actually initiate the cue or initiate the response, and then OODA loop so that you can make the change.
I love that. So I missed Tuesday. Now I'm mad that I missed Tuesday. I love that. And that's perfect for, this was the whole reason that I wanted you all to join me tonight, because I think that if you really are wanting to be a better person, just generally speaking, that everything that was shared tonight would be something that you embrace. Whether it, triggers you, whether it steps on your toes, whatever it is, if you're really ready to do better, you don't mind a little, toe stomp. You know what I'm saying? You don't mind it. You prepare yourself for it and let it happen. Because you know that on the other side of this, as I think Lisa said, that it's a wonderful thing. And that's why I do what I do, is because although sometimes it may be painful, it may hurt, it may require me to do something that I have been ducking and diving for a long time, because I know and I've seen it work before. Now it's like, okay, just, put your steel toe boots on and let's do this. So I love that as a great ending to that. But before we come back and you all remind everybody where they can find you, I wanted to make sure we do our giveaway. So I'm hoping everybody holds on tight, because we're going to have a little bit of fun. I wanted to, the word of the week, we're doing a scramble again. So this is not going to be a definition thing. So Roland, you safe, okay? But we're going to unscramble a word. Y'all can't win, because a lot of the winners are sitting up here in the panel. But for those who are in the chat, let me show you the word. And the first person in the chat to unscramble this word will get a gift, and then we're going to give away the tickets. So I want you all to take a look. Take a look. I tried hard. Take a look, and the first person in the chat to get this will win a gift, the last gift of the Power Shut Up Podcast Season 2 for 2024. Y'all let me know when y'all see it because I'll star it. Okay, now wait a minute. Who's guessing? If you all are in the panel, you cannot win. Not y'all giving away. Okay, Adrian. Is that Adrian who's up here with us? No, it's a different Adrian.
Yes, Adrian, the artist.
Okay, so it looks like Adrian is the first person. Do you all agree?
Yeah, she just beat out Tawami.
Okay, because I was getting ready. I saw him, but I want to make sure that I'm doing this properly because my eyes will go somewhere and stay. So yes,
I seen his divine. She was the first one, I think.
did she? Hold on, let me see.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I missed that.
She did it first.
Where
From where I'm looking, she his divine appointment. Yes, she came in first. From what I'm seeing.
First. You're right, and because I made both of you all will get something. So please, I need you to, and I'll find the email and put it up on the screen. When we come back after a couple of little commercials I want to share real quick, if you all hold tight. I want to give you the email where you can send your address so we can get you your gifts. But congratulations to you all. And we got 2 winners because I don't mind giving stuff away. But I wanted to take a couple of breaks before I come back and let everybody know. And of course, we have the tip of the day. So before I go to a couple of little commercials, I want to share with you all the tip of the day to end us for 2024 is just as simple as the power of shut up is not about losing your voice. It is about managing your voice in a positive way so that you can be heard and understood. It's just that simple. I'm not trying to take away anybody's voice. I don't want you to not say what you need to say. I'm just suggesting that there's a time and a place and a way to do what you got to do so that we can move forward. So I would love to share a couple of things with you all. Uncle Junior said I was misspelling on purpose. Okay, we gonna believe that for you. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. So check this out. I wanted to remind you all, I am working on a television TV project about, it's called Dr. Gail on Love, Sex, and Marriage. And it really is about bringing people together. She's about encouraging people to marry, but understanding that, being married is work, a good works. But that we have to, keep things in perspective. We go through things. We talk about perspectives. We go through things. We can get through things. So I wanted to do a little shout out, and then we're going to give away the 2 tickets before we find out where you all can connect with everybody who's here with me tonight.
Seasoned expert in the realm of love and connection, Dr. Gail brings a wealth of personal and professional experience to the table.
I am so excited that we're on this journey together.
Renowned as a relationship guru, sexologist, and marriage life coach, she's authored best-selling books like Keep Your Legs Open and Bringing Sexy Back to the Marriage, earning accolades from readers and critics alike. With appearances on prestigious platforms such as Essence Magazine, Newsweek, and CNN, Dr. Gail's dynamic presence and engaging insights have captivated audiences worldwide. With over 2 decades of dedicated service in the field, she's not just a speaker, she's a beacon of wisdom and transformation for anyone seeking to enrich their relationships.
Just know that I am up every morning at 4 a.m. praying for my marriage and marriages all over the world. So if nobody's praying for your marriage, I am.
Welcome to Dr. Gail on Sex, Love, and Marriage.
So I hope you all stay tuned. We are just finishing up the pilot. We're excited about this. We have some amazing couples that Dr. Gail is working with, and I'm loving this producer journey. So I'm learning a lot. So please, I think there's a few more days left for you all to help out with this project. I think we shared a crowdfunding last time. So if you have a few minutes, please feel free to go over. The link is below where you can check this out, and no donation is too small. But there are some opportunities to possibly get producer credits and things like that. So it's pretty cool. So check it out. I wanted to actually give a shout out to, if you all are on TikTok, which I know a lot of you all are. If you're not doing anything in your evenings, Monday through Friday, please check out DJ Coco Rowe from 9 to 12:30. She does slow jams and she does some smooth jazz, but she also, I think around 11:30 or 12 o'clock, she goes into gospel hour. And they go to church up in there. So if you're looking for some wind down time, you're looking for just something to get you chill in the evening, I've been in there. My husband actually sits next to me sometimes, and he's like, "Who are you listening to? Is that 95 No, that is not 95.5." But DJ Coco Rowe is pretty good at what she does, so please check her out. Now I want to tell you about what we're doing as far as ticket giveaways. We are giving away tickets to this awesome event by a talented young lady and her husband in the area. So if you're in the DMV area, then you can win this. So, and I'm going to give you the question. So check this out, and then I'm going to give you the question that will allow you to be the winner of these 2 tickets. So hold tight.
Stop scrolling. Now listen, I need everyone, you and everyone, to come home for the holidays. And remember, we always have a reason to celebrate this season. You know what I'm saying? So pull out your most fabulous, ugly Christmas sweater, honey, and meet me on Saturday, December 21st at 8 p.m. at Public Playhouse in Cheverly, Maryland. It's our Home for the Holidays concert. Now I get it. You might not be feeling so festive, right? It's a lot going on, but I promise this will make you feel better, because you know you got a reason to celebrate. So put it on your calendar, get your tickets right now, and make sure you share the love and bring your entire family, your friends, your co-workers, your students, teachers, church family, your pastor, your praise team, your coaches, your neighbors, your butcher, your mailman, your UPS driver, your Amazon woman, your cashier at Target, your nail tech, your hairstylist, your dog groomer, and of course, you. Child, just buy a cluster of tickets. I'll meet y'all. Home for the holidays.
So if you all are not connected to Silva on TikTok, please, she is, her voice is amazing. Her husband is talented. I have 2 tickets to go see the concert on Saturday. So the question is, for all those who can win, who are in the DMV area, the question is, for those who may have paid attention or watched my social media, whatever, what is one of the reasons personally why Christmas is so special to me? There is a specific reason. So the first person to drop it in the chat will be the winner of those 2 tickets. If you are living in the DMV area, which is Maryland, DC, or Virginia, I will get those tickets to you. While we're doing that, I would love for you all to kind of go around table and share with us where we can connect with you. Share with us the events that you have going on. I will also try to show some things at the bottom for you. But the first person to guess why Christmas might be, and I might end up just randomly having somebody here. Oh, Virginia. Okay, Virginia's here. Oh, you. Okay. Well, and I might allow, if nobody does anything in the chat, everybody who's in the panel, you might have an opportunity, because I don't think that any of you know the answer to that. I don't think. So we'll give them a minute. But please go around and tell everybody how they can connect with you and what amazing things you have going on that people need to be connected. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll do it. So as we stated previously, we do a lot on YouTube. So you can find our YouTube channel at Empowering Perspectives. On that channel, we have a show every Tuesday night called Coach's Corner. It's myself and the Uncle Junior. And our focus during that conversation, we talk about things, leadership, professional and personal development oriented. And we don't necessarily focus on just the business sector. We also focus on the family as well, because leaders is, it's across the board. We believe wholeheartedly that personal and professional development go hand in hand, and we need to look at it from a different perspective. On Friday nights at 8 p.m. I'm sorry, back up. Coach's Corner is at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday nights. On Friday nights, we have the Hearts of Men every Friday night at 8 p.m. That's myself, the Uncle Junior, Mr. Poor Man's Dr. Phil up there in the corner, and Brother Tawami Gaddy, who has almost answered one of the questions right tonight. Well, I mean, I wasn't stressing right. I mean, there's a couple of people that got it right, but he was almost in there. But yes, it's one of those talks where it's a men's oriented panel, but it's not necessarily focused solely on men. We talk about men problems, but it's for men and women. So if any woman who wants to have a better understanding of men, any single mom who is raising a boy child, it is a great space to learn some things that young man can learn from. Tuesdays, every Thursday, we have the Hearts of Women podcast that's hosted by yours truly up above me, the voice of reason. That also includes Sister Nodella. That also includes Adrian, and also the love doctor who is not here tonight, Miss LaVon Norrells. And they do the same thing that the Hearts of Men do on Friday, except they do it from a women's perspective on the third Saturday of every month. And then the fourth Saturday of every month, we have Reframing the Image of Relationships. And again, that's purely about relationships. And it's mostly based upon a biblical perspective, but every now and then it kind of vacillates between, worldly and biblical perspectives. On Sunday mornings at 11 a.m., we have what is called Sunday Morning Brunch on TikTok. That's where we met Dr. Lisa Dove Washington. And then from there, it is all about the Bible in the life that we're currently living. So the things that we're dealing with, the things in our current everyday life, we talk about those things based upon what the Bible says. And then at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Bible study on TikTok as well. So that's it in a nutshell about all the stuff that we have going on. As far as I'm concerned, you can find me on TikTok, again, _mindset_coach. I'm on Facebook, Dwayne Dwyer. I'm obviously on YouTube, on Instagram at innovative_consulting_services. So yeah, I'm all over the place. Just type in my name or the Mindset Coach and I'll pop up someplace.
Absolutely. Who's next that wants to share? I tried to put everything at the bottom, but please, if I missed something, make sure everybody knows.
I'll go next. Oh, okay. You can go ahead.
No, I think Coach, covered most of it. I was just going to say, if you subscribe to the channel, you will see all the different podcasts there. And you find one that really piques your interest and that you want to watch there. Again, I mentioned earlier, there's so much content on there that, if you go to Coach's Corner, if you go to Reframing the Images of Relationship, there's so much there that anything can help you. And then participate in totalmindsetshift.com. You can go to the website and we have a group there where we come together and we have we try to put encouraging messages on there for each other throughout the week. So we try to come together and we want to grow our community in a positive way. And our thoughts are always about growing and changing and changing our perspectives. So just wanted to say that. I'm not gonna say much else.
Did anybody have anything else? I know there's an event coming up in January. Sister Nodella, did you want to mention?
Yes. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, LinkedIn. If you just simply Google my name, it'll bring me up and it'll tell you, anything that's been posted about me publicly. You can either search me by Nodella Jordan, but I'm listed as Nodella Sacagawea Jordan across all of my platforms. I'm the only one, so you can't, trust me, you won't get anyone else. But in way of announcements, I am very excited. This will be my second annual A Healed Mind is an Empowered Mind virtual conference 2025. And I am also excited that I have the Mindset Coach who will be the presenter on Saturday. I will be presenting on Friday, January 10th. It will start promptly at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. sharp, again, Eastern Time. I am very punctual. So, if y'all roll up in there at 11:30, depending on where coach is, you might miss out. Last night we did do a live Q&A regarding the conference. So I did post today one of the snippets, and I'll be posting a few more other snippets just to help those who are considering attending the conference what they can expect. But listen, come with an open mind, because again, we're talking about mindset here ultimately. But I promise you, you will not find another conference like this. It is a specific conference, and we're just excited of what is to happen. So that's about all that I have in way of announcements. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all so much. This has been absolutely amazing. This was definitely the best way to close out 2024. I hope this is not the last time that you all will join me here to keep doing what we do, because it's not the last time you're going to see me over on your end Sundays. Look, I'm there absolutely every time I can be, and I gain something every single time. So if you all have not yet connected with them, TikTok is where I found them, but I think they are on all social medias. But please connect. This is the way we grow this community, and I think it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I can't say that enough, but I did want to say thank you all for continuing to support me through this year. This has been a great Power of Shut Up podcast year. I mean, they're all great, but I have made some really great connections with people. So I'm excited about where this is going. I look forward to seeing you all next year in 2025. And thank you for celebrating with me. So I did not see anybody guess. And I don't know whoever's in the DMV area here on the panel, but I would love to get these tickets to somebody. Can you guess why Christmas Day is maybe so important to me, other than, the reason for the season?
Santa Claus.
No.
Back in 1979, you got Rock'em Sock'em Robot.
Oh, Lord. You can call him Santa Claus. No. So I will.
Something about your dad. Something about your dad.
No.
No? Okay. I tried.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you all, was this because you love and crafting? That's a good one. That's not it, but that's a good one. To see your grandson smile. That's a good one, but back in the day he wasn't here yet. So glad I could be a port of connection. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Christmas Patrick.
So I'm going to give it to you all, but the first person who types in the chat, whether you're in the panel or not, and says, I'm from the DMV, but don't do it yet. You got to wait till I say something. But the reason that Christmas Day is so important to me, and I guess you could call him my Santa Claus, but my husband proposed to me on Christmas Day. And that's why, because it's my favorite time of year, he got it right. So that is why Christmas is extra special to me, because he actually proposed to me on Christmas Day.
So what I heard you say is that I won.
Because he's Santa Claus, right?
Because he's Santa Claus, yeah.
Yes, but he brought me the best gift ever. Crystal says she has family in the DMV, so she's first.
My brother's from VA. I'm just putting that out there again.
So Crystal, is Crystal in the DMV?
No. Crystal's in Georgia.
Because I want the first person who's in but you got to go in the chat. So if you in the panel and you ain't putting nothing in the chat yet, you don't want these tickets. But Saturday is going to be an amazing concert. If you know somebody, who's in the DMV, Crystal, you said you have family. If you think that they would be able to attend this concert at the Public Playhouse, I have 2 tickets for somebody to go and enjoy. You said 2 birds with 1 stone. What are you doing?
Your husband, he knocked out hey.
Oh, he did. He did. That's my Santa Claus. So,
Della, you're in the DMV, right? Maryland, right?
So if you all are interested, you don't have anything going on Saturday night, I'm telling you, you will be amazed. Crystal says she's not in the DMV. Okay. Nick D is here. Nick D is in Maryland. Okay, so Nick D, if you are available Saturday evening, I think you all have to make sure confirm. Is this the first person that's put in the chat that they're actually in the DMV area?
I
I
don't see
posted before
anybody.
she did, but I'll
You put it in
let
there?
her win it. Yes, I did.
Okay, so you will be the winner of the first of the tickets. If you're available Saturday night, I have the tickets for you. They're at the Public Playhouse, if you know where that is, out Bowie, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it offline.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I know where Cheverly is. Yeah, that's a kind of a hike, but we'll see.
Okay, and Nick D, give me your information. We're all in different chats. Nick D, give me your information. If you all can send your email address, and let me see if I can put it up for you real quick before we close out. If you can send your information to, and I'll say send your email because that's how I'm going to send you the tickets, Nodella, if you're interested, but send to info. Let me see if I can find it because I told y'all Shariva is not here. So here we go. info.dsmmedia@gmail.com. If you send your information to that email address, we can talk and see what we can do. I might have a couple of other surprises, Nick D and Nodella. So let me know. Who says, but I live in North Carolina? Oh, he lives in North Carolina. Okay, got you. So again, I thank you all so much for joining me tonight. Thank you for closing out 2024 on the Power Shut Up podcast. I look forward to seeing you in the new year, which is what, 9 days away, 6 days away. The countdown begins. Today starts my vacay. So I'm extra excited that I ain't doing no work and I'm going to do exactly whatever I want to do. Y'all know how I feel about the holidays. But please have a wonderful holiday. Enjoy your family and friends. And let's come back in the new year and keep the work going and do better and be better. So until next year, exercise your power, shut up. I promise you it will bless you. And again, thank you so much. Happy holidays.